Robin Lundberg Show back in full effect with you once again. And this is an exciting show because we're going to try something different on this one. I'm going to bring some of you guys on. We have a community that's building here, which is really building my confidence, helping inspire me to go on day by day. And it really does mean a lot to me. As I've mentioned, we already got people commenting, Michael Martin saying hello, Patrick De La Pena saying excited for a great show, and WrestleMania 40, here we are. And I don't know, exactly how many people are going to check out tonight's show or whatever. This isn't meant for the clicks per se. I didn't frame the episode to say like, let's get the most listeners possible. This is what I wanted to talk about today because I'm going to WrestleMania this weekend with my son, Raj. I want to be pumped about it. I want to be hyped about it. And I wanted to share some experiences with people as to, what got them into wrestling, what moment got them into wrestling, and really connect. And if you want to talk about something else, you could do that as well. I got to tell you though, when I right before the show, I have a little routine out in my driveway with the basketball, and I have to complete it before I can leave the court, right? And I was up against it before the show started. So I have, what the mic and drill is? You do one on the right side and one on the left side, layup, right, left, right, left. I have to do 20 of those, no misses, 20 straight layup makes, and then I have to go around the world from 5 different spots on the court with no misses. Like, it wouldn't take me any time at all if I could miss, but it's 5 20-foot jumpers, nothing crazy, but you got to make them consecutively, right? So I'm looking at the time. I'm like, I have this schedule for this time, hoisting up the jumpers, running to get the rebound, but I completed it. I put that in the background, and I am here today. And I want to share my pro wrestling story with you quickly before I bring you on for yours. And I think I've touched on this a bit, but my origins of professional wrestling start with something called Coliseum home video. I don't know if any of you remember that, how old everybody is. Here's a graphic. I found a graphic for it. Let me pull it up and put it on the screen. Wow, this is an old school website here too, I found. Coliseum home video was my entryway to professional wrestling. You look at the logo right there. Because my grandmother lived in Mississippi. My mom is actually from Mississippi. So we would go to Mississippi, of all places, Vicksburg, Mississippi. And my brother and I would be there. And you realize, there ain't that much to do in Vicksburg, Mississippi. There ain't that much to do when you're 8 years old, period. You don't have that much control over what you're going to do. You're not hitting the town at 8 years old. But my aunt worked at a video store. So my brother and I would go rent a gang of tapes and watch these Coliseum home videos. And I remember watching these tapes, and I remember watching things like The Undertaker's debut on Coliseum home video, right? You remember The Undertaker's debut at Survivor Series in 1990 or 1991. And it was that Roddy Piper was like, that big ham hocker is coming to the ring right now. And it was a big deal because he took out Dusty Rhodes in that match. Dusty Rhodes put him over. That's what The Undertaker looked like at that time. And I remember watching the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, before they were split up by the infamous barbershop window. But I remember seeing the barbershop window. I remember watching that live as Shawn Michaels betrayed his old partner, Marty Jannetty, and kicked him through the barbershop window. There's the image right there. Kicked him right through it. It was shocking. I remember Bret the Hitman Hart. I remember him as part of the Hart Foundation. And that was what got me in to wrestling. Now, fast forward, I'm always watching. I remember recording. I don't remember why. Maybe it was because I was punished and I wasn't allowed to watch Raw, and I would record it on the VCR and then cover the VCR to not show that it's recording, right? So I could watch it later. And you had the Attitude Era of Raw at that point in time. And of course, the Attitude Era of Raw, you saw Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock and everything else that came along with that. And of course, that was on the heels of the NWO, which was the most shocking thing of all time, to see Scott Hall show up on their television right after you were fresh off seeing him as Razor Ramon. Hey, yo, Chico, take a look at the bad guy, Razor Ramon, Like, he was on the other channel. How did that happen? How could this be? And that led to Hollywood Hogan and so on and so forth. Anyhow, I followed it, because it was the coolest thing in the world. We went to a Raw when I was in high school, and it was the coolest thing in the world. And then I went to college, and I guess you could call this the John Cena era of things. And that's where I wasn't quite as in tune. I wasn't quite as locked in. I would still parachute in. I would still make the references on the radio even after that fact. Like when somebody got really hot, I would reference how like the hot tag in pro wrestling, the tired partner's crawling over to the side and finally makes the tag, and the other guy comes in and cleans house. Like I would use those references on sports talk radio, but I can't say I was following it completely religiously at that time. I did go to WrestleMania with my wife. I don't know, when we married, I think we were just married at the time, at MetLife Stadium. But I didn't really get back into it until the pandemic, where it was the a random Royal Rumble that I put on. And my kids were like, "What is this? What is this?" And they gravitated toward the television. And then we watched every single Royal Rumble. I think it was 2020 that we watched first. I know you're not supposed to talk about him, but Brock Lesnar threw everybody else out at the beginning. And then he was eventually thrown out by Drew McIntyre, I want to say. And that's when I got locked back in. And I've been locked back in ever since. My son and I are going to WrestleMania this weekend. Again, I'm not doing this show for the clicks. I'm doing this show for the bonding experience. I did take my family. It's going to be the thumbnail for this YouTube. I took them to a house show at MSG, where they were all into it. Of course, my son, of course, couldn't be more pumped for the upcoming WrestleMania. I'm trying to find the photo. You'd think I'd have it easily accessible because I used it as the thumbnail, but apparently it's disappeared from my phone in the same token right then. Here, let's see. Yeah, there we go. Can you guys see that photo? There we all are at Madison Square Garden. Even though Ronnie was super into it at the time too, my daughter. So I wanted this to be an episode where I got myself hyped for the event. You got maybe hyped for the event. We could take it in different directions later, but I also wanted it as a thank you for all of you who have joined the show, who are joining the show, who do check out the show, like the commenters who are already here, and the people who are already waiting to join the show. So without further ado, let me bring some of you guys on. Let's start with we got David here.
Hey, how you doing?
What's up, David? David, are you Doom? Are you Doom on Twitter?
No.
No. Where did I send you where did we hook up? Where I sent you the
my wife.
Oh, your wife, Tina.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
actually, that's how me and my wife we met. It was at the United Center. She came as a guest. I was working in guest relations, and her nephew came up missing. And so I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to help her out. Almost got fired for that same situation because he's supposed to be a 12-year-old. And the first thing you think of is a 12-year-old is supposed to be, not too tall or anything like that. No, he was a 6'2", 225-pound 12-year-old. But I still say that this is one of the best wrestling events that I've actually worked at because it was Bret the Hitman Hart against Owen Hart. It was a heart attack tour, but that's not where I got my love of wrestling. My love of wrestling came when I was about, I was like 6 or 7, And in Chicago, there was a place called the International Amphitheater. And it was Dick the Bruiser going up for the AWA World's Heavyweight Championship against Nick Bockwinkel. It was a steel cage match. I'm like, I don't care to even want to be here. It's like, why did my cousins and my uncles, bring me here? Until Dick the Bruiser threw this man's head up against the cage and the blood went flying into my popcorn. And I was just like, I can't believe I just saw that.
Yeah.
Do it again. And my whole family, as a matter of fact, this WrestleMania, I know you're going, but we always throw a WrestleMania party. And the next time WrestleMania hopefully come back to Chicago, we wants to go to WrestleMania. My wife has been to WrestleMania. As a matter of fact, the main event was, I believe, was The Undertaker versus Sid Vicious or Sid Justice at that time.
Uh-huh.
And he threw the hat out to the crowd. Now, we watched it on television while my wife and my nephew was there, and we could see her snatch the hat.
Awesome, man. Yeah, Tina, your wife is super cool. She's always she's on Instagram. She's always commenting and liking my posts on Instagram. So tell her I said hello as well, and I appreciate you joining.
Not a problem. We'll do.
David is the first guest on the show. I'll see how this transpires. I'm going to bring as many of you guys on. Maybe I could bring everybody back on for a round table in a bit. Trying this out for the first time, seeing how I can navigate it. AJ, this is my man from Chicago. I don't even know if he's a wrestling fan, but he's a supporter of me, and I appreciate it. He's hit me up on Facebook. He sent some really nice messages. So I appreciate you joining the show, AJ. What's going on, man?
Hey, Robin. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I'm a second guy. David was from Chicago, too, it sounded like.
Hey, maybe I do need to hit the Midwest.
Chicago's taking over the show here.
Are you a wrestling fan?
You know what? I'm glad that you had me come on, because I don't watch it right now. Kind of like you. Maybe we're about the same age. I'm 39. And the story that you were telling, it was very similar to my background. Like, my earliest memories of watching wrestling, I don't know if I'm having a Manchurian Candidate thing here, but I recall this show in the early to mid 90s. It was on Saturday mornings on Fox, I think. It was called WWF Superstars. And I swear it was they would bring out the superstars, your Bret Harts, your Undertakers, and they would wrestle these nobodies. It was they plucked these guys off of American Gladiators, and they would just stomp on these guys. It was on Saturday mornings, I feel like. I could be totally mistaken, but that's what I recall. I would always watch that with my brother. And then, like you said, I was going into high school in 99, and that was when the Attitude Era was just, in its fullness. And, fell in love with The Rock. The Rock's my man. The only stuff I pay attention to now, is The Rock. So now that he's back on, I got to jump back into it. But can you? Are you able to just jump back in? Is it a soap opera?
Yes.
I've been away for 5-10 years.
This is the best time to jump back in. Did you see what The Rock just said at WWE World? He was late. Let me see if I'm going to pull it up and play it for you, because come on. I mean, look, and I don't think The Rock is going anywhere. I don't think he's going to be around after WrestleMania. He's not going to be around all the time, of course, but he is going to be a part of the show because he's now on the board.
Right.
Here's what The Rock said at WWE World about why he was late to the event.
Booing because The Rock was supposed to be here at 4 o'clock. Is that why you were booing? You're booing because The Rock was a little late. Is that why you were booing? Why was The Rock late? You want to know? You want to know why The Rock was late? Are you sure? You want to know why The Rock was late? He was watching YouTube, watching Jalen Hurts lose in the playoffs again.
That's in Philadelphia, of course, where they're at right now.
Is he full heel right now? Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. So, long story short, this is interesting. This will let me level set for you. The Rock came back right after the Royal Rumble. He had done some appearances, but Do you know how the Royal Rumble works? When you win the Royal Rumble, you then get a chance to go to WrestleMania. So Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble, and that's after Cody Rhodes had been building up toward a rematch with Roman for a year, because Cody lost to Roman last WrestleMania, and he's been going through the trials and tribulations to get back. So the fans have rallied around him, and then he wins the Royal Rumble. If he hadn't have won the Royal Rumble, I don't think this issue would have transpired the way it did. But he wins the Royal Rumble, and then the next week on SmackDown, The Rock just comes out and says he's going to face Roman Reigns, and Cody gives up his spot. And
it was controversial.
Oh, yeah, because Roman Reigns and The Rock is a big generational match. They're connected, the bloodline and all that stuff. But people were like revolting because it totally threw the story off and the journey that they had been on with Cody. So like they made it so bad that they had to pivot. I mean, I really think that was a genuine pivot, not a scripted pivot. And that's what turned The Rock into this heel version of The Rock right now. The final boss Rock is who we got right now.
Gotcha, dude. Yeah, I'm gonna have to jump back in because like I follow him on Instagram, so he's constantly sharing all of these clips. Like he just beat up on Cody Rhodes like in the parking lot or something. Like I catch all that stuff. But like I said, it's like I'm hesitant to jump in. Am I gonna be able to like just catch up and be like, okay, here we go?
Watch WrestleMania. Peacock is $5 if you don't have it.
Oh, I got it. And like
watch WrestleMania.
The whole like catalog's on there. It's great.
Yeah. Watch it. I would watch it Saturday and Sunday. All right, I'm gonna get to the next one. AJ, appreciate you. You want to hang around? I'll see if I bring everybody back on. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. Of course, make sure you comment. Make sure you share. Make sure you do all of those things. But right now, we are sharing in the moment and the build to WrestleMania together. Let's get next up, Kevin. My man, Kevin.
What's up, bro? I'm working, man. I'm hiding in the office.
I hope they don't see this.
They do. They got a camera, bro.
Oh, they got. Are you on break at least?
Hell no, bro.
All right, man. I won't hold you too long, but what you got, dude? You're such a loyal fan. I appreciate you coming on.
I got you, man. So I was a fan out of the womb. Like, there's pictures of the delivery room of my dad holding me wearing an Austin 316 shirt. So, like, my dad has always been a fan. My aunt, my brother is a fan now. But my personal first memory of really liking wrestling was my mom taking me to a video store, and we rented Starrcade 97, which, those who don't know, Starrcade 97 was the year buildup of Hollywood Hogan versus Sting in the main event. The ending got botched, but it was such a big deal to me because I just loved Sting so much. I don't know if you ever remember this vignette of Sting in like a warehouse, like jumping down and crushing grass and stuff like that. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I've been a fan ever since. Only time I really was kind of out of it was pre-AEW, where Roman was the big dog character and before he was the tribal chief. That's the only time where I almost tapped out. But even then, I still kind of stuck through it.
You're a big you're an AEW guy yourself. I mean, you obviously you up on Sting, so you're big on the indie scene and like the counterculture of wrestling, if you will.
Yeah. During that era where the Roman Reigns big dog character was, I was really into New Japan and Okada versus Kenny Omega and Okada versus Jericho, and those matches kind of spurned AEW. So at that moment, that's when I was kind of out of WWE and more into the other stuff.
Gotcha. What are you most looking forward to this weekend?
Dude, The Rock, man. I mean, to me, it's like it doesn't matter if you're a WWE guy or AEW guy or whatever. You just got to give up to the great one. I mean, he's the one person where it's like that tribalism stuff should just go to the wayside and just enjoy his greatness.
The tribalism chief.
Yes.
What did you? One more thing. I don't. If you gotta, I mean, you can stay on as long as you want, but if you gotta go, you gotta go.
No, what's up?
What did you make of Edge's promo last night? Because I thought that was. I'm really trying not to do the AEW hater thing. But it just felt like, what are you doing? Like, why are you? Nobody asked for that. Like, you didn't need to do that. It felt like coping.
But I feel like he was damned if you do, damned if you don't. Like, if they ignored it, people would have been like, why are you ignoring the elephant in the room? Right? And like, if you say something, it's like, why'd you say something? So I feel like no matter what people were going to do, people were going to crap on that because, that's just what AEW kind of attracts that with with Tony, how he is in the fan base.
Well, yeah, and then when Tony says the stuff about like, you guys just appreciate all wrestling, or sends that message out there, sometimes it's a little hollow just because he
feeds into it, dude. I'm not even gonna be that guy who's like WWE's just this big bad bully that bullies. Tony feeds into it too. I think they both do, but I think WWE gets the benefit of the doubt because it's been around for so long, and Tony's not like this, for some people, not this likable dude. So I think he's kind of an easy target in that respect.
Yeah, let me add everybody on here, see how this works out.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
How's it going?
Yeah.
How are you guys enjoying? Let me know about the show. What do you guys what do you like about me? Why are you guys joining the show all the time?
Okay, now here's my perspective. I actually just started today. My wife has been hooked with you for months on end. Normally, it's me and my son and my daughter normally watches wrestling together. She watches wrestling like when it's a big pay-per-view, because we do a pay-per-view party. As a matter of fact, when we were talking about like you were saying how you and your family went to WrestleMania or the pay-per-view, and my wife honored me with going to see Roman for the very first time. I don't know if you can see the picture there.
There's a little bit of a glare, but we can see the shirt. We know it's Roman. Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. But yeah. And the funny thing about it is this picture wouldn't even happen if it wasn't for my daughter. My oldest daughter, her name is Karen. And what she did was she wanted my daughter Phoenix to see Roman so badly. My oldest daughter, her name is Karen. And what she did was she wanted my daughter.
Where's that echo coming from?
Yeah, I hear it too.
Got a feedback on. Turn your volume off. Is that we just brought in Jolton Joe. Is that you? You're Doom, right? Online.
I'm Doom. I'm Michael Martin. I'm Jolton Joe.
you're multiple accounts. Okay.
I follow you everywhere, buddy.
Dude, you're the best. You really do. I appreciate. But like, it's funny. There you go. It's funny because you have the I've never seen your face or realize who you are, because I've seen you follow me forever, and when you messaged me, I had no idea that was you. So it's nice to put a face to the name. What's going on, man? What moment got you into wrestling?
So I'm a little bit older than you guys. So I remember the promos that superstar Billy Graham used to cut as he was going into the Bob Backlund matches in '78, right in there, right? And I think it was probably May. I think it was the first time Backlund beat him. I think it might have been a count out or something. So we didn't the title. That was when it was the old WWWF.
Ooh.
So then, for whatever reason, I hated superstar Billy Graham, and I became infatuated with Bob Backlund. So once Bob Backlund won that title, that was my guy. I ended up seeing him at the Broome County Arena in Binghamton multiple times. He came through town. And then also, if you guys remember, Robin, you might remember Ricky Martel and Tony
Rick Martel. Yeah.
Rick Martel and Tony Garea were always that sort of tag team on the outside looking in. I don't even remember. I think they won a WWF or WWF title, but that would, Garea would go in and get the hell beat out of him for like 5 minutes, right? And you just see him, Martel, and then Martel would come, he'd get the tag, he'd come flying in, and then he'd whoop up on the Wild Samoans, the Moondogs. So I love Ricky Martel. And then, of course, after that, it was all Hulk Hogan. And that's probably
Hulk Hogan's the pop culture crossover star, right? Like Hulk Hogan's the guy that made pro wrestling mainstream in many ways, I would say.
Yeah, once he was in Rocky III as Thunder Lips, and then shortly thereafter, he beat the Sheik.
Who was it that beat Bob Backlund in 3 seconds? Was that Diesel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when
Yes.
Bob came.
That was actually at a house show. It wasn't even on TV. It was a house show. And I think that led up to his title match with Shawn Michaels for that WrestleMania.
Did Bret Hart not win the title at a house show also?
No, I don't recall.
Might have been the tag titles. Not
Yeah,
100%.
the tag titles, yes.
Yeah.
Didn't Bret beat Bob Backlund also?
I think he did.
He did at WrestleMania, but it wasn't for the title. It was actually like a commission match.
But I think that's how Bret got the title. No, I think he won. He beat Bob. Who did Bret beat to get the world title?
Undertaker.
Really?
The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels hit him with a chair.
Where do you guys fall on the Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels debate?
Remember that, but yeah.
Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels debate. Let's go around the room. Kevin.
Oh, Lord, no.
Shawn Michaels, dude. Come on, man. Shawn
Bret.
Michaels.
Bret Hart.
David.
Dude, I'm Shawn Michaels too. Shawn Michaels all the way. The Heartbreak Kid.
What about you?
I'm a Hitman guy. My
Thank
number
you.
3 favorite of all time. Bret the
Thank
Hitman
you.
Hart.
I saw Bleacher Report had Bret Hart ranked as the #1 wrestler
Yes.
of all time.
Yes, but that
I took a lot of issue with that Bleacher Report. I saw it last night, actually, even right before you posted it. I think in your short, and I was like, "Oh boy, so many problems." I don't see how you can't have. I mean, I understand Hogan's had a really bad history since. I don't see how he can't be a top #1, and then Stone Cold #2, The Rock, Undertaker #3, 4.
How did
Yeah.
Cena end up 4th on that list?
I think it was 5. See,
I thought
here's
it was
the list.
4 or 5. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
There. But I mean, look, if you're having, it just ignores. I get it. They want to reward the Hitman and all like he did for the industry and whatnot. But you gotta like, this is where some of the AEW, WWE stuff, I guess, gets stirred up. But in the end, the business is about who's putting the most butts in seats, right? Even the other wrestlers will say it to each other. Thank you for the house, right? Like, thank you for the house is the thing that they say. And if you're judging it by that, then the top 5 in some order must be The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, and probably Roman now in one of those 5 spots, I would say.
Could be.
Flair
Yeah.
did
I
not
had to
love
disagree
either.
with you on one of them. I mean,
Right.
like, I wouldn't put John Cena in there because you have to remember Ric Flair was putting cushions in seats as well.
That's true. When I go back to the beginning of what I was saying on this show, Ric Flair, my grandmother had Ric Flair action figures in the in her house. Like, it was NWA. That was
NWA, yeah.
yeah, I guess that's what she was into because it was in the South. And that
Yeah,
was
that would have been the old territories, sure.
yeah. Yeah. Kevin,
All right.
you good, man? If you gotta go, you
Yeah.
gotta go, bro.
Yeah, I got to get off, guys. Nice meeting you guys. Robin, you're my guy. I've been listening to you since I was in high school, bro. Like I said before, I used to wake up at 4 a.m. to hear your show, bro.
Well, Kevin, I am forever appreciative of that and you sticking with me now. And don't get fired. See you later, man.
All right, bro.
Hey, buddy.
There goes
Was that
Kevin.
Kevin Zwicker?
Yes, it was. Yeah, from the you see him on this channel all the time. AJ, you've been just sitting back here for a second. You gotta want to say something.
Dude, I'm just enjoying the conversation. This is like I said, wrestling is it's got a history, and I got to jump back in. I remember like a couple years ago, it's crazy how people they get all amped up for the Royal Rumbles. Like, I remember, what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? Like, everyone was freaking out that like Roman Reigns like got announced like last. He was like the final guy. Like, how long ago was that? And like I remember like on like Facebook and Instagram, like the world was like freaking out. Like, how could they do Roman Reigns? Like, it's there's so many people out there that like wrestling just appeals to like the masses. And
what I always say about it is this. What I always say about it is that wrestling, everybody has a connection to it. Everybody has a connection to it. Whether and this works when I do it on sports talk radio, right? Because I'm on Mad Dog all the time, and I promise you, every time I do a wrestling topic, the phone lines light up like that every single time, and it's because everybody has that connection. Whether they're following it all the time, like plenty of people do. Whether they're like you, AJ, who like have some sort of awareness of it, but aren't avid followers, whether they, are here and there followers, or whether they haven't seen it in 20 years, but they can do a Macho Man Randy Savage impression. Oh yes, the Macho Man Randy Savage. Oh look, we got the shirt there. Oh, yo, the ice cream bar was the illest. The Macho Man ice cream bar.
This is the old cream of the crop promo. One of the
yeah.
greats.
That was definitely a good one. What up, Ernesto? You want to join the call, man? I can send you the link. Patrick, if you want to join the call, you can let me do that for you as well. I'm trying to figure this out on the fly, but this is actually not that hard. This is working out pretty well. It's like the old Stick to Sports show. I don't know how many of you guys ever saw that, but there's an aspect of that. But now the technology has caught up a little bit. And we got David's David's wife is a fan. Now you're a fan, David, right?
Oh, yes, by all means. Yes, I am. I mean,
David, we're going to send you some smoke detector batteries for being a guest.
It's not that. It's got to be like this. Oh, yeah. Dig it, man. The Macho Man has had a lot of problems with Hogan and The Undertaker, and including Yokozuna. But that's Ric Flair, you keep messing with Elizabeth, and I'm going to have to hurt you. Yeah, dig it. I used to get in trouble. I used to call people and would tell them that they won tickets. They really won tickets. They wouldn't. Thank God there was no Star 67, because I used to get them like, yeah, you see, yeah, this is Macho Man, yeah, I got tickets for you, and they would be like, oh my God, I won tickets, and I'm like, call me. They would call me and say, David, man, I won tickets, and I'm like, man, I'm so sorry, but yours is not that bad.
That's a pretty good. That wasn't bad, man.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. It looks like Ernesto is going to join the call as well, so he'll be in here in just a moment. Anybody that's out there watching, please like, subscribe to the channel, comment, and all that. You guys got all the. Are you guys watching from your devices? Make sure you're watching from your devices.
Yeah.
As well. I know you are, Mike. Now that I know you're 4 different people. All right, who's everybody's favorite ever wrestler? Let's do that. Let's start with you, Jolton Joe. Who's your favorite ever wrestler?
So for years, from back when I went to Hogan, and then since then it's been Hogan. But I'm looking back, the guy I actually enjoyed like pound for pound, minute for minute was Goldberg. So I became a Goldberg guy.
I don't think I've ever heard that before. That was Goldberg.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, if you talk to, we get into the AEW, WWE debate, Goldberg's like the poster child for bad wrestling, But it depends on what you define as bad wrestling. It's in the eye of the beer holder, so to speak.
That's a good one. Good line. Yeah, well, and here's the thing about Goldberg. You really can't hate on Goldberg or front on Goldberg in the sense that he was over, right? And that's all that ultimately matters in that business is how popular are you? How much do people, rock with you? And Goldberg had that aura from the knock on the, to the way he came out. But if you like Bret Hart, you can't also like Goldberg, can you?
Well, that is true, and I'll tell you, the Japanese strong style. I don't see how there aren't more concussions. Maybe they're undiagnosed, but when you watch that kick, Goldberg's kick that he landed on Bret, and then you watch some of these matches from over in New Japan, it's unbelievable the amount of head kicks and that look flush. I mean, that is some magic, some voodoo that they're doing that these guys are not getting crippled.
Ernesto asked, where's the link? I sent it to you on Facebook, man. You're on Facebook right now. I mean, I don't know how else. I can't just put it out. Then everybody check your Facebook Messenger. You have Facebook Messenger installed, and then figure it out and hop in here, dude. Danny Adams, Goldberg had one of the best entrances ever. Yeah, I think everybody can agree with that. Like I said, the boom, boom, and the knock and the entry from Goldberg. I wanted to AJ, before we get back into the wrestling talk, you had said something about F1. Do you want to be the official F1 correspondent of this show? Is that because I'm not too familiar, but I know it's blowing up.
Just need to remember one name, right? Max Verstappen.
No. So, okay, I will absolutely be the official Robin Lundberg Show Formula One correspondent. There's a big race this weekend. They're racing in Tokyo. So on the East Coast, the race starts at 1 a.m. So you could stay up late Saturday night and watch that. I love the Formula One stuff. Like it gets me up super early on Sunday morning because a lot of the races, like you got to be up at like 5 o'clock to watch them, which is pretty cool. Like I eat up all the pre-race stuff. There's like an hour and a half of like pre-race coverage. It's just incredible. I got married like 2 months ago, and my
Congratulations.
thank you. My wife allowed me to book us a trip to Europe for our honeymoon. We're going in July. The reason for that, not the whole reason, but is because the British Grand Prix in England is in July. So she let me get us tickets for that. So I'm going to go to my first race.
Wow.
I'm super excited about it. Yeah, Lewis Hamilton's my guy. He's moving to Ferrari next year. Like, Robin, I'll get you all dialed in. You bring on the official F1 correspondent, and we'll get it going.
All right.
I was a Senna guy.
Very cool.
Ernesto, I see you down there, but you have to connect your devices. You have to connect your mic and cam, and then I will add you to the conversation because I can't. First of all, I can't do it right now, and second of all, it'd be a waste of time if I brought you on without the audio or video. Who do you guys got in the what's going to happen? Because for WrestleMania, this weekend, I think it's going to be night 1 is Avengers Infinity War, and night 2 is Avengers Endgame, right? And Infinity War, you're going to get the Thanos snap. Is that a smoke alarm? That is what's going off.
That's David. Yeah.
You're going to get the Thanos snap. And when that happens, what that means is Cody is eating the pin on night 1. I firmly believe that. He's eating the pin. I don't know if it's going to be Rock or Roman who delivers it to him. Maybe Rock lays him out and then Roman gets the pin so that the odds can be stacked against Cody in the Bloodline rules for the next night. And then I think in the Bloodline rules, whether Cody does it himself or he has other people come out to help him a la Avengers Endgame, you'll see the good guy prevail in the next night. What do you guys think of that?
I think that's spot on what's going to happen. And I don't know. I mean, what are the chances that Rollins turns on him or does something to affect the loss?
You think Rollins might turn on him?
I don't know. I mean, Rollins has been a face now for a number of months. I think he's equally good as a face as he is as a heel. So
there you go. AJ has no idea. What do you think?
I honestly don't want Cody to finish his story.
No?
I don't want, because here's the thing. After he finishes his story, listen to what I'm about to say.
Mm-hmm.
Cody finished his story. What's next? Seth Rollins probably going to take an L for his World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre. Gunther might win his match. Nobody wants to see Gunther and Cody. They do want to see The Rock and Cody, which would mean if The Rock wins, we're going to still end up with Roman and The Rock later down the line anyway. So what's the point?
Do you think that The Rock is going to be able to stay in the game?
Tito with the kill shot.
In the game, but I'm just saying damage control, as far as no pun intended, but they would probably put that title on him just so they can WrestleMania 41 with Rock and Roman, which nobody really wants.
Well, look, I think you could get Cody. I think you could get Cody and Rock at, like, say, SummerSlam, and then Rock and Roman next year at WrestleMania with Cody and Gunther in between.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. What was the point of putting the belt on Cody when they're going to take it right off? I mean, he's about another year before he takes Hogan's record.
No, he breaks Hogan. Roman breaks Hogan's record if he gets to September, I think. He would have to get to September. So he would have to get past SummerSlam.
Right. So which means is what was the point of taking the title off him unless Hogan's saying basically, don't take my record.
Well, I don't think Hogan has the say, but your wife would have to say.
He might, because this would be the year that 40 years of Hulkamania.
Well, I think Hogan's at WrestleMania World this week. Ernesto, are you coming back in? I saw your face down there for a second after the not connected thing, and then you disappeared. Let me know if you're coming back in. Help me facilitate this conversation. Appreciate it, guys. Robin Lundberg Show. Like, comment, subscribe, comment later if you're not commenting now. I thought it was a cool way to do this special edition of this show. By the way, I also have a show for you guys coming tomorrow, bonus edition. I did not realize it will be taped. I already taped it. I did an interview with Brandon Tierney of WFAN. I don't know if you guys know him, but he's also a
BT.
Yeah, BT. So I recorded for about an hour with him. I'll drop that tomorrow. I think his show goes from 10 to 2. So I'm going to drop it at 2 tomorrow afternoon. Of course, you can watch it after the fact, but I didn't think Friday night made so much sense unless you guys prefer that. But I figured I'd drop it right after his show at 2 o'clock tomorrow, and you guys can check that out. All right, I'm waiting for Ernesto to see if he pops back in. Anybody else got anything else they want to share about wrestling or?
No, you know what? I think if Cody does end up winning and Gunther maintains his title, I think you'd have a hell of a lead-in to SummerSlam with those two going at it. And there is some precedent, right? I mean, I think the Warrior, Ultimate Warrior, had the Intercontinental title when he took on Hogan.
Yep.
So that, and there's still always some juice with like that Eastern Bloc versus Team USA. You know, it doesn't have the juice it had back when you had the Road Warriors and the Koloffs in the late 80s, but I think there's always some juice to that.
Yeah, look, well, he could also lose it, and then they could elevate him up to the next level and the like as well. It doesn't even have to be in that regard. But yeah, I remember the Ultimate Warrior. Dude, when the Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan, like I couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe it because it was my teacher, I think, told us about that. My teacher told us that happened. Ernesto's having a problem with his browser blocking his video. And might
not be in the cards for Ernesto.
I hope it is, because Ernesto's got a lot of energy. So like I've actually talked to him before, so I'm hoping, you know, like he'd be a good way to like put the exclamation point on this show. He says, I'm on my phone, but my browser from my phone, Google's bugging out. I don't know. Turn it off and turn it back on. But yeah, I remember my teacher sharing that with us in regards to the Ultimate Warrior. Patrick, you still around, man? Send us your comments on what you think is going to happen there. So I'm going on Saturday, and we're going to WWE World on Saturday, myself and my son Raj, and then we're going to the event on Saturday night. And then we are going to the zoo because he really likes zoos on Sunday morning, and then the event again on Sunday night. Do you know who his favorite wrestler is? You have a guess?
Kevin Owens.
I think you said it one time.
I have said it. It's not like a main. Well, he may have main event in his name. Very popular wrestler.
Jey Uso.
Jey Uso, yeah.
Yeah, Jey Uso. That's
Jey
right.
Uso. Who don't like Jey Uso?
Who does?
I said, who don't like Jey Uso?
Oh, yeah. No,
I mean, he's
super
actually
popular.
Very, very popular, even when he was part of the Usos.
Oh, yeah. But like that solo run or whatever, it's really. Let me see if I can find the Halloween picture of him. He really dressed up as Jey Uso. He did the whole deal. Here it is.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
That's great.
Awesome.
All right. I'm going to give Ernesto 2 more minutes. Otherwise, I think we pretty much, whatever else you guys want to share, go ahead. Let me know any stories, anything you guys want to share, any comments. You can talk about something else if you want to. It's fine.
Dude, who's your favorite guy right now?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Did we get David's all time?
Oh, David, did we get yours?
David's a
My
Bret
all-time-
Hart guy, right?
My all-time is actually Ric Flair.
Okay.
Yes.
How about now?
Now, I would say the Tribal Chief.
Same with me. I'm a Roman guy.
Yeah, I'm a Roman guy. Yeah. I'm like,
I am a Will Ospreay guy.
oh, I forgot about Will.
How can Goldberg be your all-time
Right.
favorite? And then
I
you're
mean,
also an Ospreay guy?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on. No, to me, Will Ospreay is the epitome of the next level of wrestling.
Well, he's that the wrestling fan, right? I mean, he's the guy Edge was talking about in his lane promo. He's like, the best wrestlers in the world are in AEW. Like, CM Punk said some bad stuff about us. Let me get on here and talk about it. Yeah.
Right, and remember, I think was it Daniel Garcia that held up the sign, pulled the sign out of the crowd that said the best wrestle here, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe the best wrestles there and Will Ospreay, but when you've got AJ Styles and Ricochet and some of these other guys in the WWE, and then if you go into New Japan, there's a lot of great wrestlers out there.
I'm going to ask the question. How do you guys feel about Okada joining AEW? Because to me, I feel as though that was a huge mistake on his behalf.
I think it was too.
I knew it. I knew it. I was like, because here's the thing. He went from being the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion to what the heck is this belt? Seriously.
I think he gets ultimate. I think he gets lost in the sauce in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if he went to the WWE, he could get that WrestleMania moment.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But then again, I had to say that also with Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke was a huge person in New Japan, but when he gets here, it's no speak English. I'm like,
yeah,
really? That's what y'all do to him?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
If they don't attract a crowd, they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
get over
Io Sky is pretty big, and she's not cutting anything on the mic. Like
and that's fair. I understand that. Let your skills do all the talking for you. But I mean, here you had Shinsuke win the Royal Rumble, kick AJ Styles in the groin, and you ain't really seen anything that he's done since then.
Yeah.
Do you know any of these names we're talking about here, AJ?
Nope, I don't got a clue. Not a clue.
Hey, look, from one Chicago into
I'm
another.
excited though.
Michael Schumacher.
I'm gonna rewatch this show and write down all these names and just do a deep dive.
Yes,
and,
you need to. And then after you do that, come back and we will talk about more wrestling. I mean, I can.
Well, and I, by the way, I'm going to continue to try and make this a little, if there's ever, now that I figured out how to do this and facilitate this, and I, of course, trust you guys as hardcore and real supporters of mine, whatever topics we're doing, I can maybe figure this out on the fly as we're going until until I'm in a real studio and we're doing this all officially. But if you guys really want to, obviously I love when you guys comment in on YouTube and I'll keep sharing those. But if there's something you really are chomping at the bit to get involved in, I could do the same thing I did here, shoot you over the link, and we can sort of take callers that way if you guys think that's
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Be awesome.
Yeah, because I feel like this is it just helps build the community we're building here, and I've it's good for me because I see the concurrence every day on YouTube specific, like on X or Twitter. I've always had a following there, so it's easier for me. Even a lower viewed show is going to get. Dave, you got to change your smoke. I feel like somebody's speakers on a basketball court
in the house
every time. That doesn't drive you crazy?
How do you sleep at night?
No, there's no. It's the lighting.
It's not the lighting, it's the sound. I'm sorry. You're good, man. But it's the,
Hey, Robin, I was going to say, AJ, if you go to one match, type into Google or YouTube, Goldberg versus the Giant. 95 seconds, the best 95 seconds you'll ever watch a wrestling.
Very good. Very good.
Hold on. I got one even better. SummerSlam in Chicago. Owen versus Bret Hart in the steel cage match. Classic.
I think here's the ones I suggested for people who haven't in recent times. I think Brock and Roman from SummerSlam 2 years ago with the tractor trailer and the ring being picked up by the tractor trailer and Roman rolling out of it. That was sick. Johnny Knoxville against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. You ever watch Jackass, AJ?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you should watch Johnny Knoxville against Sami Zayn.
That's funny as hell.
WrestleMania.
Wait a minute. Hold on. I got one also. Your boy Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Don't say nothing. Just
I wasn't gonna say anything because I haven't watched it yet.
oh, I'm just saying. It was one of those. Just Mike Tyson. Or Mike Tyson.
Okay.
And that's all you need to hear about. Get on.
Gotcha. I'm gonna be busy this weekend leading up to WrestleMania. I'm gonna come back next week and I'm gonna be schooling all of you.
Oh,
You got a homework assignment.
Probably not, but I am gonna watch. I promise.
Ali says Hulkamania Ultimate Warrior got me into wrestling and the swag of Bret Hart. Yeah, I mean, like the Hitman. I guess it just like I didn't realize it when I was a kid, and I never thought he would become the champion. It didn't feel like he would become the champion, and then he did. And it was like I guess that natural. I always said like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels were to the Hart Foundation and the Rockers what Beyonce and Justin Timberlake were to Destiny's Child and NSYNC, where you just like sort of see it.
It's a great analogy.
Yeah. And you could just tell right away. And then that Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior thing, that was a huge deal because that was like the Ultimate Warrior was one of those. He was like the DMX of wrestling, where he came onto the scene and it was like he's here, but then he was gone after. It didn't last that long, but he was there and really hit.
You guys are all talking about who your favorite is. Who's your least favorite? Now, like Robin, you were just talking about how Edge, he's got some stuff going on recently, and he's honestly like my least favorite wrestler. I remember during the Attitude Era, Edge and Christian would come out, and the camera's looking for him in the stands. Where's Edge and Christian at? And Edge would come down to the ring with like his little like pink sunglasses, and I used to it annoyed me so much. I still to this day, 20 years later, I cannot stand that guy.
All right, let's go around. Least favorite wrestler for AJ. It's Edge. For David, who's your least favorite ever?
I would say The Miz.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a solid. I like Miz on the mic.
How about you, Joe?
Boy, we got to go back. Maybe somebody that I hated, and that probably would have been the Iron Sheik.
But was he your least favorite, or you had?
No. Least favorite is tough.
Least favorite's a different thing. Like because I hated.
Yeah, I know. It's tough to like somebody I just had no interest in watching in the ring. Mm-hmm. God, all right. I'll tell you who, and if my buddy watches this, he'll try to slap me. Minoru Suzuki.
What?
Can't stand him. No, he's the murdered grandpa. I think he's older than me.
Yeah, he is.
I'm mid-50s, but I can't stand the slapping. There's a place for it, like all of like 2 slaps. But just and you've seen it. I'll slap, then I'll get slapped, then I'll slap for 2-3 minutes at a time. You're like, oh, kill me now.
I'm gonna say, and this is crazy because it shows you how much things can change. I'll say Big Dog Roman Reigns, but my favorite is Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. I got to pick a separate guy who doesn't apply and isn't the same guy, but that's in honor of Jolton Joe, who has both.
That's about the same situation with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes now is loved, but remember in AEW, people didn't like him. They didn't like him at all. They
turned on him. The fans turned on him.
The fans are fickle.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
They went to loving him when he got to WWE, but they hated him in AEW because they're fickle.
They just turned on Chris Jericho. And that might have been on the heels of the allegations, which nothing's become of those allegations. But since then, he has taken a lot of heat.
Oh, yeah.
He's also, Chris Jericho looks washed up. I mean, like, he's older, but, like, it's tough to sell Chris Jericho, I think, right now.
Yeah. In order for Chris Jericho to do another gimmick or something like that, I think he literally needs to get beat down, leave, take some time off, and then when he comes back, be like a manager.
Right. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, it does feel like the end of the road for Chris Jericho, his body shape and everything. Like when I think there was a episode of Dynamite that came on like after an NBA game, and, and Chris Jericho was there, and all these people who don't really watch but knew who Chris Jericho was were like, "What the hell happened to Chris Jericho?
What happened to his chest? I don't know."
Unbelievable.
Caved in.
He's a good person. I mean, I met him a couple of times when like when he was with Fozzy, but I'm like, he needs to go back to the short haircut, the suit and tie, and become somebody's manager.
Right.
I interviewed him also. I interviewed Chris Jericho. It was part of my like tryout at SI actually. Like I realized after the fact, I interviewed Vince Carter and Chris Jericho for the 2 interviews I did on top of the speech, the LeBron speech, the essay, whatever it was called at the time. Don't at me, I think.
Pretty eclectic little mix.
Yeah, that's quite the mix there.
Yeah. What, Vince Carter and Chris Jericho? I mean,
those go together.
I can have an F1 person on AJ.
Yep, you got that right.
I've interviewed NASCAR people. I don't know if I've interviewed an F1 person before, but I've interviewed NASCAR people. All right, it doesn't look like Ernesto's going to make it, unfortunately, because he's not here right now, or else I would assume he was here. Any final words you guys want to share? Anything you want to say to anybody out there in the audience? Me, anybody else?
Have fun at WrestleMania and take a lot of pictures.
I will, and I'll try to put. Here's the thing: I want that balance of like capturing it, but also living it. You know?
Yeah.
And I've spent so much time capturing things that I want to make sure I live it as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, guys.
I always try to record one song at a concert and then enjoy the rest.
That's a good strategy. You've been to a lot of concerts?
Oh yeah.
AJ, final word from you, man.
You know what? You were talking about how there's just this like convergence on sports right now. Like I'm a big fitted hat collector. Like I got my this is 2003 World Series Chicago Cubs, which if you'll know, the Cubs didn't play in the World Series in 03. So this one's super limited. You can't find this one in stores. Like I collect baseball cards and like, like all the sports, like WWE, like they have their own cards and stuff now. Like Formula One's big with the cards. Like all these people have like their hobbies, and like whether it be collecting sports hats or cards, like it all comes back to like the main product. So like, with wrestling, for example, like, what was one of my earliest memories, and it's really like that Super Nintendo game, which is still holds up as like one of the coolest video games of all time. Like that original wrestling game on Super Nintendo, like there's so much stuff out there for us to consume, and it's awesome to see people's passions and how it goes back to like just that main entity. So, I'm excited to be here and join you guys and talk with you guys about your passions, and look forward to what happens in the future.
Yeah, like I said, I'll try to make this a part of the show going forward, at least an element. I appreciate you guys always joining in the comment section. Again, I could have talked about the topic du jour today, but I wanted to get myself ready for WrestleMania. I wanted to get into that moment. I wanted to share it with the fans out there, because I do think everybody has that connection to professional wrestling, and I do appreciate the connection we're developing here, the community we are developing here. The Robin Lundberg Show. You can like, subscribe. You can, of course, comment after the fact. And it's available as a podcast now, too. I had, I don't know if it's popular demand, but I definitely had some people say that they wanted me to put the audio out there. So I've been doing that as well. And I will drop a bonus episode tomorrow because I got a chance to catch up with my friend Brandon Tierney. So really, when I do those interviews, I've focused them more about career, again, rather than like what's going on. You can hear what he thinks about what's going on every day. So we talked about his career journey. So make sure you check that out tomorrow. I appreciate everybody who's checked out the show today. And I'll be back, I guess, on Monday here on the same. Well, tomorrow with Brandon, and then on Monday, the same. Robin.
Best show on YouTube, buddy.
Yep.
Thank you, guys. Peace out.
See you, brother.
Bye.
Where do the balloons come from? How does that even work?
Those are Ernesto's balloons.
Ernesto burst the balloon. Let me just check one time to make sure you didn't respond. No, Ernesto, we missed you. We'll get you next time.